Okay. Before we get into our next thing, we want to thank our other sponsor for today. And that is Thursday with their Rest and Recovery Collagen that will help you improve your sleep and your recovery, because not only does it taste great, but it has all kinds of fantastic ingredients in it that are designed to help you calm your central nervous system, get to sleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up more refreshed. It doesn't have any melatonin in it, so it's not habit forming. It's got GABA, L-theanine, magnesium, all the good stuff, as Marson Sawyers would say it. I have a playlist with the good stuff. It's called The Good Stuff. And Thursday has the good stuff. You guys can check them out right now, Thursday.com. Use our code TEF. You're going to save 20%, and you will sleep better. You will sleep longer. You will wake up feeling refreshed. And I have said it a million times, I don't get enough sleep. Tommy's not getting enough sleep. But because of Thursday, the sleep we do get is quality. And I wake up feeling ready to go. Like I don't roll out of bed like a zombie, do that whole thing. I'm like, all right, I'm good. Let's do this. Like ready to start the day. Got my coffee, walk the dogs. Boom. Thursday.com just Thursday.com. Use our code TEF. 20% is off. And I'm telling you guys, it's awesome. I look forward to drinking it every night, and it does wonders. I'm a huge fan. Like I was never like into the sleep supplements until I tried Thursday, and I was like, this stuff actually works, and it does not make me feel like
Didn't Sheena get you into it first?
Yeah, she did actually. She's like, it really works. And that's the thing. That's why you always listen to your wife. I'm like, you're right. And that was before they even sponsored us.
Yeah.
Yes, something I already used that I love. They're going to sponsor us. So yeah, it's fantastic stuff. Thursday.com. Use our code TEF. Okay, the main thing we wanted to talk about, this happened last week, but it's something that I think deserves its time here. Is where am I at here? I got rid of it. Okay, so the PFAA responded to CrossFit, and so this happened a week ago, and we're recording this on Wednesday. So it happened last Wednesday. It was after we recorded because it was the Thanksgiving weekend, which is wonderful, by the way. And this is what the post reads. So it's a multi-panel post, and the first panel reads: the PFAA board is disappointed with CrossFit's lack of transparency of their investigation and dissatisfied by their next steps. The next panel. The PFAA represents over 100 of the best elite individual athletes in this. This independent representation is the best method of championing athlete rights, and we remain committed to this mission. At this time, we can't represent all athletes from every division, although we do believe that athletes' needs differ by degree, not kind. In light of CrossFit's announcements regarding safety and procedural changes in the 2025 season, and they have some bullet points listed here. Some athletes may be positioned to veto the CrossFit Games. The PFAA supports athletes who choose not to compete in the CrossFit Games. Some athletes may choose to compete in the CrossFit Games. The PFAA exists solely to support professional athletes in our sport and will continue to support these athletes on an individual level and through continued education and professional discourse with CrossFit. Some athletes may look to explore alternative competition routes. The PFAA is engaged with the broader ecosystem of functional fitness competitions to expand opportunities for athletes competing in these spaces. And then final panel reads: our demands were made with the hope of guiding the sport of CrossFit toward a stronger future. While they choose not to meet them, we remain committed to building unity among athletes and finding ways to create meaningful change together. We continue to believe in the huge benefit of a healthy and successful elite sport offers the broader CrossFit community. So that was their response. And
go back to the bullet points.
Yeah.
That is what we call the old compliment sandwich.
Yes.
Right?
Uh-huh.
But reverse. Where the two things the thing that they led with is not competing in the game season, and the thing they finished with is looking at alternative routes and maybe not competing in the CrossFit game season. And I think there's a reason why they sandwiched them that way.
Why do you think that is?
Because one, I think if the one you put first needs to be front and center, right, in this scenario.
Yes.
I think that captures the overwhelming gut feeling that a lot of the PFAA people, and this is just my own kind of reading the tea leaves, this is my gut tells me that this is how the PFAA really feels. Like that's what's most important to them, is that they're going to support athletes who choose not to compete, giving athletes the space and like affirmation that they can forego it, and they're going to still be seen as elite athletes and compete.
Mhm.
And then you finish with, oh yeah, look to explore alternative competition. That's like just a reminder that we're still going to be here to support you if you go elsewhere. And yeah, we'll sprinkle in like a lengthier explanation without like saying just, hey, we support you if you choose to compete in the games. Because let's be honest, I think a lot of people are fed up. A lot of athletes are fed up, and they're really nervous about competing in the season.
Mhm.
And if given the opportunity to be able to compete elsewhere and not compete under CrossFit's banner and still have the same earning opportunities, they absolutely would.
Yes, agreed. And that's so we're gonna have Pat Vellner on hopefully next week. I believe that's scheduled.
Mhm.
Hmm.
We can
Yep.
ask him about some of this, but yeah, I agree with everything Tommy just said. I think the biggest problem here is that the PFAA does not have enough power to really affect, to really, I get, I don't, to force CrossFit into doing something. And if you think back 40, 50 years in the NFLPA, they didn't have the power then that they have now. Like
Mhm.
this is a a group that's in its infancy. I like what they're doing. I think it's necessary to have a group that represents athletes' interests. And I know Mitch Hooper from the strongman side of things has talked about the PFAA, and I'm wondering if maybe strongman athletes would want to get involved. Like if they kind of have to branch out of just being CrossFit athletes, but
Mhm.
a different sort of thing, the issue that like would be representing strongman. I don't know, but it's just going to take time to build that power. And now, like to Tommy's point, you can't take a hard line really on anything because you don't have the power to do that. You have to sort of say, okay, and they should. Like we support athletes who are going to compete. We support athletes who are not going to compete. But it does definitely put the people who are on the board in a strange position right now because you couldn't blame them because this is their livelihood for competing in the CrossFit Games season. But at the same time, if they do sign up, there's probably some people out there that are going to say, wait a minute, like you can't make demands like you did and then say, well, I guess we lost and then just go back. And I don't know what the right answer there is, but I'm guessing that some of them are maybe feeling that pressure.
I mean, it's the same concept as when people stand outside of their place of maybe not apples to apples, but similar. When people stand outside of their place of employment and strike because they want pay raises or
Mhm.
whatever, and then they end up going back inside if those demands aren't met. It's like, oh, well, did you really create any change? Now, where's this line? What is your authority? Do you have any power? And it puts everybody in a very uncomfortable situation. And as Sean said, you can't blame anybody who like does have to put food on them and their family's table. And I
But
think for all athletes right now, whether you are part of the PFAA or not, everybody's kind of in this dance position. What do we do?
Mhm.
What is going to set me, my family, my future up for the most success? And that's a really complicated situation when we look at it because yeah,
yeah,
we can say that we don't make it an emotional decision, but emotions, we're humans. Emotions are going to come into the fold whether we want to or not.
and even in those scenarios where they strike and then go back to work, I actually have a friend who's a part of exactly that up in Sacramento recently. Uh, they still are causing change because every minute, especially in a public sector or public servant sector, every second you're not working, work is not being done. Work not being done
That's
is
true.
money lost, and it may not ultimately bring about the demands, but being willing to do that at various intermittent points has brought about tremendous change from organized labor over time. Because eventually, like it's almost like I don't want to say death by a thousand cuts, but you start you dent their wallet a little bit, and the first time's kind of a wake up call, and you do it again, and then you do it again in intervals that allow you to, obviously exist because you have to think about your family, and then eventually, like, yeah, we can't do this again because not every strike has been successful, but it's definitely, but like strikes over time have proven successful.
Yeah,
Makes
because
sense.
Well, and I think that's what we're going to see here too, because whether it's a significant amount of athletes who don't sign up for the season or it's not, it it's still somewhat moving the needle in the sense that there is going to be some kind of other opportunities for athletes to compete outside of the CrossFit Games season.
I mean, it seems like that, but here's the thing, just so when you talk about a strike, it's like usually everybody is on board. Well, not everybody's on board here. They represent 100 athletes. So if 100
Mhm.
athletes drop out of the open, that's $2,000. That is negligible. That's nothing. And
But to me, I don't know that it's 100% like, yes, like the financial part makes a lot of sense, but I also think it's a little bit of optics too. It's who drops out, who doesn't,
well,
what
Yeah,
kind of sponsors are they tied with?
and that's the dilemma, right? Because that's what ultimately hurts the PFAA is need broader unity amongst athletes to be able to make decisions for the collective, right?
mhm.
That's what collective bargaining is all about. Having all these people signed up to say whatever you guys decide to do as a union, we're okay with. And if that's striking, we're behind you. That's what we pay our dues for, and that's what we're trying to build. Because however X many elite athletes not competing that year or going elsewhere, it's not going to have an immediate effect. CrossFit isn't going to be like, whoa, I would be willing to bet that as soon as that happens, Cash would be like, fine, screw them, next man up.
Yeah, then
But
that's
but, but what will happen is a bunch of people that everyone's like not that invested in will happen. Viewership will go down, registration goes down, and that second cycle hits, and suddenly they're like, yeah, our projections aren't looking good anymore.
well, okay. So let's talk about the viewership thing. Okay, because that's the one area where there might be a meaningful impact because lack of viewership makes your event not easy to sell sponsorships against. So that's one place
Mhm.
where it makes a dent. But beyond that, that's and I don't know how much of a difference it would make because we're in uncharted territory here. And the other thing I think that's facing athletes that is making their decision a little more difficult is the fact that we don't know what the prize purse. I mean, this is the same situation every year. We don't know what the prize purse is going to be, but it has been relatively consistent over the year because there's been a title sponsor and it has sort of maintained the same. So you understand kind of what's at stake here. What's that going to look like now that the money from the open is essentially going to fund that?
I
Yeah, and
mean,
it doesn't. I don't know if there's any like.
but here's the thing: we don't even know how much, to what extent it's going to fund
That's the
that.
thing. Like, so now you're making decisions based on sort of all these unknowns, and you got to. I don't envy the people that are trying to make that decision. They have to make those decisions.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, the money funds, but how exactly? It's like you're not giving us exact breakdowns. You're not telling me, 50% of every registration is going
Yeah.
to the prize purse. Like, we don't know that. They
No.
could say, oh, open registration is going to the prize purse, and then take the tens of millions of dollars that they make from the open, or yeah, it might not even be that much anymore, um, and put like 100 grand and be like, see, that was from the open. It's like there's no guarantees to that
Yeah.
until they
Well,
actually are transparent about this. Then it's wolf. I don't know if you guys know that term, wolf tickets.
no.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
it's
And
kind of
like,
a that's kind of a street term we used to say growing up. Like, if you're wolfing or wolf tickets, it means you're bullshitting, kind of. You're
Hmm.
selling us on something
not
that's
as
not
good
real.
as you are apparently.
Eh, it's
Me either.
debatable.
Rough streets of Salinas. Um,
I don't
I
know.
think it's
Sacktown.
unfortunate. I think it's unfortunate for the athletes for a variety of reasons, but I can't remember who, so I'm sorry, otherwise I would give you credit, but who made the argument that it was a positive thing to tie prize purses to open registration because then, okay, I'm Sally Joe and I really want to support X athlete at the game, so I'm going to sign up for the open, and that's really going to like drive me to do it. The way that I think of it, and maybe this is just the group of people I've spoken with, is people inside the affiliates, I think, want to see the return in what they're doing. So I don't know that driving like a bigger prize purse is really what gets people amped
No.
to sign up for the open. But if you said, 2% of every open registration is going to go back to your specific affiliate to get further education for your staff, to host a holiday party, to get new equipment, things like that. That's really what I think would drive up open registration. So to tie it to the prize purses for professional athletes, that makes me nervous.
But there's no other alternative. That's what I was going to get into. It's like
Mhm.
the odds of not having a title sponsor this year are probably pretty good, given everything that's gone on. They didn't have one last year. First time since 2010. So,
Wow.
you know, maybe I hope I'm wrong. I mean, I want to see this be okay. Like I hope someone says, yeah, I want to do that. But the odds are not good that that's going to happen. And and look, I guess as an athlete too, you can sign up and just say, well, you can get halfway through it and be like, oh, okay, well, it's not worth it. I'm going to go do something else. But I think it just gets back to me is that when the PFAA made their demands, I felt that if you're going to do that, and they were well within their right to, and I understand why they did, you better, there better be a well thought out alternative for the eventuality that they're not going to say yes to any of this, that you're going to get totally shut out, which is what happened. And I don't, maybe there is, but I felt like if that was going to be the case, like that plan had to be enacted really fast because you had to say, okay, you said no, here's what we're doing. And the
But
fact
I
that
don't
it
know
hasn't
because they're
gone
playing
out,
chess right now.
who
The PFAA.
are they? I hope they are, but
I
like,
mean, think about it. Yes, we don't know the prize purse, but we know that there's going to be this somewhat hybrid season, but like what does that even look like when
that's
it
what I'm
comes to
saying. It's like we
semifinals?
need
We
to
don't
get
have
that
those
done.
answers. We don't have
Okay,
dates, locations.
we don't have that, but what I'm saying is like the PFAA, in order to me, and again, I'm just as just I I'm not trying to like dump all over them, but this is a question that I
No,
would
no, I don't think you are. I think
Pat
this is a
is
good
that
conversation.
they need to like you. I feel like in order to be as effective as you possibly could, you needed to have that alternative ready to go right when you got rejected, and say, "Here's our plan. Here's what we're doing. Get ahead of it." So that you have everything planned out. You have this, like, this is what our season structure is going to be. These are the events we have. Now, I know that is much easier said than done, but now you're ready to go. Like, this is what we're doing, as opposed to, well, we don't know. And I think maybe that's like, if I had one thing that I would say, tell, Brett and Pat, is like, maybe that should have been thought out a little bit better before the demands were made.
Yeah, but even then, like, for all we know, they could have something up their sleeve and they're not telling. Because at this point, if you know CrossFit's not going to negotiate in good faith, if you know that like they have broken NDAs and leaked stuff out, like, that isn't, being a good negotiator, or not, they're not bringing an honest foot to the table. Would you tell them everything you're about to do? Would you announce everything publicly?
Yeah, I would if I had it all planned out. Absolutely, because it eliminates uncertainty right now. And there's so much uncertainty going on that it would make you look a little more credible if you had that than the alternative. If you had it all planned out, you had your dates, you had everything.
I
But
mean,
maybe it's
I'm
but
talking.
to make it
I'm not talking about an alternative option. Like, you're planning all that stuff out, and I'm saying something like the effect of a strike. The plans and stuff are in motion for whatever competitive season, whether it's World Fitness Project or something
Mm.
else. If you have all these athletes committed to boycotting the season, making this jump, and making this push elsewhere, at this point, why would you tell CrossFit that is coming?
and why would you reveal what that looks like before you see their cards?
And why not wait till the very last moment so it can be effective, and then
It's,
you just hit them with the warhammer.
I get you, but I think, and I
And even though it looks like they're not being transparent to us, like for all we know, they could be having so many conversations with the athletes, and that's who they're serving. I mean, they put that in their
okay,
post the other day.
and
It's
I
just the way that I'm thinking of it. I can see what you're
no,
saying too, Sean,
mhm,
and I think right now we all just have a lot of questions of what's happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, and so that's a really good point. But here's what the thing I would not push back, but I would just add to that is that dynamic that you're talking about, I think would work if you were talking about organizations that were on equal footing right now with credibility. And I think so much trust has been lost in CrossFit like that. It's not like one or two things that they have to do to rebuild it. They have to do a lot. Like they have to do a lot to rebuild it. And I think the PFAA could just, if they had the right people, which I'm sure pretty sure they have like a lot of really good people involved with whatever they're doing. But to come out and just get ahead of it and say, we're going, here's what we got, here's what's going on, athletes, this is the schedule, this is, and then go and not wait on CrossFit, because now you're just giving them more opportunities to kind of control the narrative. But I totally understand where you're coming from with what you're saying. And I'm glad I'm not in charge of this because I don't know if I'd have the right answer, but these are just the things that pop in my head when we're thinking about this. And it's just, I'm really looking forward to having a chance to hear from Pat, maybe Brent, in the future, because these are just things I'm not asking to try to make a point. I'm asking because I genuinely want to know. And I think we all want to see this work, but I think we are in for a very strange season where things are a little bit fractured.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, any way you look at it, it's going to be fractured. And the season, any of the seasons, whatever it's going to look like, it's going to be completely new and different to any history of what we've seen before.
Every time I hear the word fractured, I think of the South Park video game. Do you know the name of it?
Oh, yes. I do. What was that? It was something but fractured.
Fractured butthole.
Oh yeah, fractured butt. But
if you said it fast enough, if you said it quickly, it was fractured butthole.
Yeah. I remember that.
Oh my God. It was a video game?
Oh yeah.
It was a video game, yeah.
I don't know that one.
Dang
it.
But we'll see. I respect what they're trying to do. Like I do think the PFA is trying to make things better. I really do. Now whether or not they're being effective at it, I think that's where the argument is, but I think their hearts are in the right place. Like I respect a lot of Brent and Pat. I think they're smart guys. I just I just keep wondering, like, what is it going to be? Like, what are they going to do? Because they have to do. There's got to be like you got to have the stick ready to go because the carrot didn't, or they didn't even try the carrot, but they didn't get what they wanted. So now it's like there's got to be consequences.
Yeah,
and I don't know what those are going to be.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I will say this: I'm excited to see Kristen Holt on the competition floor again this weekend.
Yes,
good point.
We didn't talk about that, but
yeah.
She's an animal, man. That's an athlete that's going to be fun to talk about when she's. I mean, I guess she kind of has sort of unofficially hung it up, but just the legacy that she's left too, man.
Yeah.
It's great.
The European Becca Voigt, just.
Oh, I did have something for anyone who are discussing all the doc stuff. If you want to see the piece that really kicked off the whole like modern documentary, like, hey, this is maybe a viable thing, you go to YouTube, you look up 2014 games. There's a video that basically like Marcin and Heber and so there's the 2014 highlight reel for sure. That one's a 9-minute one. And that's a snippet of the bigger piece.
Okay.
That they turned into as kind of like a mini doc. And
the highlight reel is awesome.
The highlight reel is fantastic.
That was one of those videos. Like if I had to pick things that I would take from there and take to my grave, that's one of them. That freaking awesome. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So look, just type in 2014 CrossFit Games, and it'll be titled 2014 Games. It's got 3.6 million views on it, and it's like an hour. It's like 95 minutes or something like that, and that's really like beyond the Ferning doc. That was really what like one of the things that
this is on YouTube.
Yeah,
on YouTube, yeah. And then on that search query, it'll also include highlights from the 2014 Reebok CrossFit Games, and it's a photo of Josh Bridges yelling after push pull. So those two videos, put them on your watch list.
2014 is one of my favorite years. That was great. Okay, well, hey, good discussion. Appreciated the exchange there. And like I said, we'll have Pat Vellner hopefully next week and maybe get some of these, ask him some of these questions. So any community support that we need to get to before we get to our PRs and reps?
Not off the top.
Okay. Well, listen, if you guys have something out there that you want us to get the word out on, please send it to us via our personal Instagram pages or the Talking Elite Fitness Instagram page. Or if you have other means of getting a hold of us, do it. Send us all the pertinent details so we make sure we send people to the right spots to get you the support that you need. Always happy to do, to get the word out on whatever good is going on there out in the community. PR's no reps. Start with no reps. Who's got a no rep? Oh, Lauren's got a no rep. Lauren, go ahead. I like the way
Ooh,
Lauren's raising her hand.
It's like, I have a no rep. It happened before this recording. I
Oh.
was on customer service with Shark, like their vacuums.
The vacuum, yeah.
Okay, so I have one of their robot vacuums,
Mhm.
because I have 2 very fluffy dogs and it runs every single day. It keeps the maintenance from my house being a snow globe of fur. And it broke when my aunt was at my house last. So I'm not going to blame her, but I mean, it's
Fair enough.
ironic that things
It's
break
her
when my
fault.
aunt watches my house.
Yeah.
But the good thing is I had it under warranty. Well, unfortunately, I'm still getting a new one for free. But so they sent me a new one. It was not the right new one. So now I'm on the phone with them for over an hour going through everything, and they can't find the documents. They can't find anything. We finally get it resolved. And because of dang Black Friday, everything is out of stock for the next 2 to 3 months.
Oh.
So I said to this man that my house was literally going to be a snow globe of fur, and he just laughed and
Yeah.
was like,
Well, sorry.
I'm so sorry.
It's
And
like,
I'm like,
send me something. Send me anything. I don't care. Tell me that you care. Just do something.
yeah.
That actually
So
leads into mine, so that's
Right,
a
go
good
ahead,
one.
Tommy.
yeah, go ahead. That's the story.
I'm gonna no rep late night TV ads.
Oh.
Okay, so because I, pulling some late night shifts and stuff with the baby, so I'm up just kind of trying to bide my time. And the advertisements that are on late night TV, one of which is always Shark Vacuum.
There you go, Lauren.
They make it look like it's like God's gift to cleaning.
Yeah.
It kind of is. I'm not gonna lie.
All right. Well, as long as you endorse it.
Oh,
That's
all
Yeah.
right. The amount of you know
Oh God.
the pharmaceutical
yeah.
advertisements, whether you want to stiffen up or loosen out, they got the pill for you,
Yeah.
and it's just like constant, and the fake like Medi-Cal or like legal like ads that are on late night and running like every like 10 minutes, driving me up the wall.
Well, because that's the demographic that still watches TV with commercials.
I just want to watch Thor Ragnarok for like the 70th time. I don't need to take 4.5 hours to do it because every 5 minutes I'm having someone standing in front of a fake call center telling me to, get your injury
reverse
lawyer on
mortgage.
the phone. Yeah. Reverse man Dan. Like that reverse mortgage thing. Like, yeah.
Yeah, late night TV commercials aren't pretty, but
They're not.
They're geared towards, people in their 60s, 65 and up. Like that's who's watching commercial TV now. Okay, I don't think I have a no rep. I got a PR though.
Oh, let's hear it.
I'm just gonna PR Apple TV Plus in their programming. Severance season 2 is coming out January 17th. And I went back. My mom was in town for Thanksgiving, and I was telling her all about the show, and she's like, "Hey, well, let's watch it." And I was like, "Okay, if you don't like it, we'll turn it off." And I didn't think it would be her thing, but she was totally into it. And now I'm watching season 1 again. And if there's anybody out there that watches Severance, please hit me up because I really don't have a lot of people to talk to about. It is so
Be a friend to Sean.
freaking good. And I'm watching this first season again, and I'm just like, oh man, and I can't wait for season 2. So big PR to Severance and Apple Plus because they just put out all their stuff is fantastic.
It's a bummer. We don't have Apple Plus anymore, so I can't
get it for you just to watch this show. It is so good.
It's just we can talk about it.
It's so good, man. That's my PR.
I'm gonna PR Cyber Monday on the inverse of what Lauren. Black Friday didn't treat her so well, but Cyber Monday.
Cyber Monday's good, man.
All my Christmas shopping one day.
Nice.
Oh, amazing. I love that.
Knocked it all out.
Not a thing.
Didn't pay full price for a single item.
There you go. PR for Lauren.
I'm also going to PR a television show. Yellowstone. Have
Oh,
you guys dabbled?
I have not.
Have.
Okay. With Tommy, you seem like a skeptic. Did you not like it?
No, I do like it, but I caught it piecemeal, so my wife is a big fan of it, and um, the character of John Dutton, some of the
Mm-hmm.
inspiration for him and some of the storylines is actually loosely based on one of my buddy's dads.
Oh,
What?
Hmm.
How
Yeah.
how do you find that out?
Uh, there's there's a couple storylines in Yellowstone that are directly tied to some events that happened in real life in lesser terms that my buddy's dad was involved in, involving airports being built in areas in Montana and things like that. Yeah.
interesting.
Oh, that's the
Yeah.
part that I'm on right now. I'm,
Yeah.
like, at the beginning of season 3.
Yeah.
All right. Good
Oh,
TV, man. When you find a good TV show, you want to tell everybody about
oh,
CrossFit. You just want to tell everybody
lean
about
into it.
it. Absolutely. So yeah, Severance fans, please hit me up. I gotta talk. I need people to bounce the stuff. Oh, God. Okay. That is going to do it for this show. Thank you to our sponsors, Viore. Viore.com/TEF, 20% off. I'm telling you, if you're looking for something for the holidays, go there. Okay. You're going to find something that whoever you get it for will absolutely love. I swear. And maybe even just pick something up for yourself. Start a new Viore habit. Also, Thursday.com. Use the code TEF, save 20%. Two great organizations. So glad to have them on board. So glad they support us. And you order their stuff, you will be very happy. Next week, hoping to have Pat Vellner on. Good luck to everybody competing this weekend in Dubai and also at the Fit Fest in UK. We'll be talking about those next week and try to catch some of the action this weekend as well from Dubai. I've actually never really had a chance to. I've watched some of it because it's always at such weird hours, but I'm going to try to make a attempt to watch some of that.
Yeah.
All right. For Tommy Marquez and Lauren Khalil, I'm Sean Woodland. Take care of each other. Be better, and we will talk to you guys